Key point 1. Cherish the wild woman. The civilized world is increasingly encroaching upon wild nature, and in doing so, a part of our souls are dying out. Rules and restrictions have been suppressing the wildish part of the human psyche for thousands of years. Women in particular have borne the brunt of this suppression because European culture has historically tried to subdue and curb them. Young and healthy women are like wolves when free, hardy, playful, driven by strong instincts, caring, and devoted to their families. And like wolves, women wither when constrained by others. Even so, the memory of wild nature remains deeply ingrained in the female psyche, evoking a subtle longing, even when unaware. The wild woman awakens in mothers when they bear and feed their children. She comes alive in the most daring dreams of girls when they're in love and the mournful cry of an inconsolable widow, consumed by the grief of loss. The wild woman ignites an artist's passion for creating masterpieces. She responds to the rhythms and melodies resonating in the voices of singing women. She fills their movements with strength in the dance. Encountering the wild allows you to reconnect with your roots, instincts, and freedom. Seek your wildish nature in dreams, symbols, legends, and rituals. Traces of this nature remain in fairy tales, waiting to be revealed. Think of these tales as healing medicine for the female soul. By analyzing each plot and learning from them, you will come closer to the integrity and unity of the wild woman and reclaim the forces of your female nature that have always been yours. If a story is seed, then we are its soil. Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Sounds promising? Well, get ready to explore 5 captivating myths. The first will grab your attention and draw you into this magical world. Key point 2. Bluebeard. Tyrants never change. The tale about Bluebeard starts by describing the main character. He has an indigo-colored beard resembling a shadow of a hole at night. He's also known as a failed magician and notorious for pursuing women. Once he invited 3 sisters to the forest. After spending a fantastic day together, the girls started thinking he was not that bad. However, the 2 sisters still had suspicions, while the youngest was utterly charmed and eventually agreed to marry him. After their marriage, Bluebeard departs on a trip, granting his wife complete access to his house and giving her keys to all the rooms. He only forbade her from using a key that opened the hidden door. In his absence, her sisters came over to visit, and their curiosity led them to discover a horrifying truth behind the door. Skeletons of Bluebeard's ex-wives and lots of blood. Even though the youngest sister tried to cover up the revelation, Bluebeard learned about her betrayal and threatened to kill her. Ultimately, her brothers arrived and killed the abuser, thus saving her life. What does this story teach us? Firstly, building a relationship with wildish nature is significant for women's development. Women must carefully follow their path into darkness, ensuring they evade capture or harm. Secondly, it shows the importance of intuition. Despite his facade, the older sister's lack of trust in Bluebeard contrasts with the younger one's naivety. Her decision to open the forbidden door empowers her as she follows her inner voice, becoming stronger and wiser. The Bluebeard tale shows us the awakening of a psychic center, which helps us recognize predators and remember that they exist. Many women face the same scenario of marrying monsters due to naivety or misguided choices. While they try to cure their Bluebeards with love and affection, they overlook the key to the door with all the skeletons. Danger can be attractive and intriguing, but following your gut and responding to wake-up calls is essential to staying safe. Key point 3. Vasilisa the Wise. Healthy aggression as a self-defense. The next fairy tale, Vasilisa, also known as Vasilisa the Wise, has a Slavic origin and starts with the enigmatic words, "Once there was, and once there was not." Vasilisa's mother is dying and decides to leave a gift for her beloved daughter, a doll that is supposed to protect her in any situation. After the mother's death, both the father and Vasilisa were grieving. Later, her dad meets a widow with 2 daughters and marries her. The new spouse doesn't like Vasilisa and treats her horribly. Eventually, she decides to get rid of her stepdaughter by sending her to old Baba Yaga to ask for fire. Vasilisa, takes the doll that directs her to the house and sets out on a trip. The naive girl asks Yaga for help. The witch agrees, but only if the girl completes a few seemingly impossible tasks. However, the doll helps manage all of them and gives the girl hints on how to communicate with Yaga. Ultimately, the old witch gives her a skull with fire, and Vasilisa safely returns home. Once she's there, the skull kills her stepmother and sisters. This fairy tale shows how a mother's blessing can bestow intuition onto a daughter. The bond between mothers and daughters is strong, and their experience exchange is a significant part of maturing. Across generations, they teach each other inner instincts, such as sensing, seeing, and knowing. However, a girl can develop her instincts and consciousness about life only when she no longer has the guidance of her overprotective mother. During this period of self-discovery and self-reliance, she realizes that being overly kind or accommodating may not always serve her well. Instead, she learns the importance of forging a healthy relationship with her darker side. Growing up means letting go of the excellent mother figure in your head. In the tale, Baba Yaga represents a wild woman. She is wise, strong, and fearsome. By meeting a wild goddess, Vasilisa learns to face the unfamiliar without wavering. She must respect her power and learn from Baba Yaga's wisdom. Yaga gives her lessons through chores, and Vasilisa obtains some of the witch's manners during this time. Did you know? In Slavic folklore, Baba Yaga is a supernatural creature who lives in a forest hut that spins continually on birds' legs. The old witch is notorious for kidnapping, cooking, and devouring her victims, often preying on children. Key point 4. The Ugly Duckling. Find those who appreciate your beauty. The Ugly Duckling, written by Hans Christian Andersen, encourages outsiders to take their time to find their true selves. As the story begins, down by the river, a mother duck is watching her eggs start to hatch as new ducklings are born. One egg takes much longer than the rest, but eventually a little creature emerges, and upon looking at him, his mother can't help but call him ugly. The other animals join in, bullying the little duckling, while his mother tries to defend him. But she also wants him to disappear, so the duckling runs away. He meets different people and animals on his journey and always gets the same reaction. Throughout all this, he finds solace in watching the swans on the river and admiring their beauty. Eventually, the duckling approaches them to get acquainted. When they ask him to look at his reflection, he discovers he is one of them. Although his egg rolled accidentally into the duck family, he has always been a glorious swan. It just took him a while to realize it. We often beg for love from those who can't give it to us, instead of turning to those who choose us in return. This story's plot is universal. The little duckling symbolizes wild nature under the pressure of maltreatment. The duckling was never ugly. He just looked different. Likewise, we sometimes find ourselves around people who fail to recognize and value our beauty, causing us to doubt our worth and feel insignificant. However, the problem lies not with us, but with the inappropriate environment. To support only one kind of beauty is to be somehow unobservant of nature. Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Being rejected by family creates a profound emotional impact, potentially leading to a lasting psychological complex. Children with problematic mother-child relationships may retain echoes of their mother's voices well into adulthood. This voice persistently reinforces the false notion that you are not good enough. Society and families typically pressure girls to conform to certain expectations, such as wanting them to behave in a perfect way. But exploring your unique features is far more crucial than meeting the standards of others. When you accept your beauty, you no longer require validation from other people. It gives you the sweet freedom of being your true self. Key point 5. The Little Match Girl. Cherish and nurture your gift. Creativity lies in simplicity. It is pure love for something, a person, a word, an image, or a place. It's a feeling so overwhelming that you can't help but follow the flow and start creating. A woman's creativity flows like an inner river, filling her soul with love. Yet this connection may face challenges from external poison, such as pressure from her surroundings, which may obscure her ideas. Many women confess they are too tired, busy, or scared to fail while reconnecting with their inner selves. A woman must learn to say no to shoulds and make space for her wants. Additionally, Hans Christian Andersen's tale, The Little Match Girl, portrays the consequences of losing focus. There once was a little orphan girl who lived in a dark forest. For a living, she bought matches for half a penny and sold them for a full penny. She used the money to buy bread. When winter came, it became even harder to sell matches as people walked past her unaware. Seeking warmth, she began lighting matches one by one. As she lit the first one, her imagination transported her to a warm house with a stove inside, but the flame quickly vanished along with the vision. She then used a second match, returned to that house, and saw a table adorned with delicious food. Yet, once again, the moment passed, returning her to the wintry street. With the strike of the third match, a gorgeous Christmas tree illuminated her surroundings. She then saw a star blazing across the sky and recalled her mother's words that it represents a departing soul. Soon after, her grandmother appeared, comforting her. And in the morning, the girl was found dead. The little girl's story illustrates how living in fantasies instead of taking action can lead to fatal consequences. Matches symbolize a gift she didn't use properly to save her life. The same happens to gifted women with beautiful voices or talent in writing or acting. They are shy and bury their gifts deep inside instead of showing them to the world. The main character made an effort to sell matches instead of pursuing warmth. Similarly, women invest their time and energy in things that aren't worth it. Key point 6. The Crescent Moon Bear. Practice trumps knowledge. Finally, let's explore a Japanese tale that teaches patience and shows that emotion regulation is a long process, emphasizing that there are no quick fixes or magic pills. The story starts with a woman awaiting her husband's return from war. However, once he returned, his behavior took a drastic turn. He refused to enter the house and chose to sleep on the stones outside, isolating himself in the forest. Despite his cold and aggressive demeanor, the wife remained determined to win back her husband's love and affection. Seeking guidance, she visited a healer who asked her to bring him a hair from the crescent moon at the bear's throat. Undeterred by the dangerous task, the young wife went to the top of the mountain. On her way there, she kept repeating, "Arigato zaisho," which means "thank you for letting me climb upon your body." Eventually, she found the bear, but since it looked furious, it took her a few days to approach. She left food for the animal to establish trust before revealing her purpose. When the bear attacked, she calmly explained her mission and reminded the bear of the food she had left as an offering. Moved, the bear allowed her to take a hair. However, when she returned to the healer, she was quite disappointed. The man burnt the hair and said she didn't need it. Instead, she must return home and use her new experience to heal her husband. No piece of advice is as effective as experience gained through overcoming trials. Interestingly, the wife didn't understand the lesson right after her experience on the mountain. She needed to see the hair burnt to grasp the value of her adventure. The bear symbolizes rage. She had to maintain an emotional connection with it before it eventually switched from fierce to goodness. From the beginning, the healer could have told her to be patient with her husband to cure him, but it wouldn't be as persuasive. Once the wife could melt the bear's heart, she could do the same with her husband. This story teaches us to recognize the value of primal rage and deal with it appropriately. Suppressing or denying it is useless because it is part of our wild nature. Instead of being afraid, we should accept anger as it points out the pain that needs attention. Conclusion. Culture, to one degree or another, has distorted all the myths about goddesses and the sacred secrets of female nature. As civilization progressed and some ethnic groups colonized others, storytellers removed sexual, mystical, and unethical details from their stories due to religious influence. So the legends that have come down to us have become scarce. However, they still contain archetypes, leitmotifs, and symbols passed down by the ancestors. And the same elements exist in our psyche, the part that connects us with all living and dead people on the planet. Therefore, we often react to the tales we hear as if we can see a part of our lives in them. But in reality, it's more like we listen to echoes of shared experiences from the collective unconscious. People shared stories long before psychotherapy, art, and science emerged. Elders in ancient tribes used legends to give their descendants knowledge or warn them. Tales were passed down from generation to generation, and when a mother retold the family legend to her daughter, the voices of all the women who once lived on Earth and knew this story came out of her mouth. Therefore, fairy tales connect modern women with ancient, unbridled female energy, providing strength and inspiration to resist those who seek to tame them. Try this. Explore the famous psychiatrist Carl Jung's works on the unconscious and archetypes. For example, Symbols of Transformation, 1952. Recall and analyze the fairy tales and legends your parents told you as a child. You might be surprised to find new insights and valuable lessons in them. And discuss with your older relatives what rituals the women in your family adhered to. Reflect on the actions from which your great-grandmothers drew strength and peace.